Welcome to English for Arabs channel. Today we're gonna have Interchange 3 Unit 5. We're gonna start with the vocab book, and we said you have to keep the words in English, not in Arabic. Also, we will have an American great teacher, Mr. Rولفسون. He will explain the grammar for us. This is level number 10, intermediate 1, so I hope that all the students try to use English. No Arabic, please, don't use Arabic. And try to listen to real American native speakers, such as Mr. Rولفسون. Okay, let's get started. You have to keep the words by heart before you start watching the video. So, number 1, we're gonna start with the words. Keep the words by heart. If you find the video a little bit longer, just an hour or 70 or 80 minutes, no problem. You can divide it every day, finish half an hour. The most important part is to continue. Unit 5, Crossing Cultures, page 30. 2. These are the words of exercise number 2. Nervous, nervous, feeling nervous. The word nervous, American, but the British nervous. In British, we make the R silent, but in American, nervous. Confident, British, American, confident. Confident. We make the O as a sound in American. Confident. Self-confident, having confidence. Confident, self-confident, having confidence. But in British, we say confident, self-confident, having confidence. Depressed, low in spirits, sad, frustrated. Depressed, low in spirits, sad, frustrated. Frustrated, T a soft D. In British, we say frustrated. But in American, I can make the T soft D here between two vowels, so say frustrated, which means very sad. Enthusiastic, energetically interested in something. Interested. Don't say interested, no, wrong. Say interested in. Energetically interested in something. Fascinated, being completely interested. Showing complete attention to something. Fascinated, being completely interested. Showing complete attention to something. Insecure, not confident. Insecure, not sure. Insecure, not confident or sure. British, insecure. And also, this word in British, sure. We make the R silent in British accent if we have vowel before the R. If we have A, E, I, O, U, we have here U before R. Uncertain, unsure, not sure. British, uncertain. We make the R silent, unsure, not sure. 3. The words of exercise number 3. Definitely, absolutely, definitely, absolutely. Be fascinated by, be extremely interested. Be fascinated by, be extremely interested. Depress, depress. Remember P, depress. Cause sadness. 5. Weave, wove, woven. Weave, wove, woven. Weave, weaved, weaved. For the verb weave, we have American weave and a British weave. Yeah, we have weave, wove, woven, and weave, weaved, weaved. So, of course, the conjugation here is British and American. Yeah, خلي بالنا ان الفعل ده ليه تصريفين. واحد فيهم أمريكي والتاني بريطاني. Customs, habits, customs, habits. So that's the end of the first part of the vocab. Now let's get started. Unit 5. Crossing cultures. Exercise number 1. Perspectives. If I move to a foreign country, A. Listen to the people talk about moving to foreign country. Would you have any of the same concerns? Would you have any of the same interests? Here, look at the picture here. What do you see? A woman, a lady, and she's having a wonderful dish. So what's this? This is a wonderful dish. Maybe this is spaghetti. Maybe this is Italian food. Maybe this is a mother. She's a mother, maybe. So, listen to the people talk about moving to a foreign country. If you traveled abroad, would you have any of the same concerns? Would you have any of the same interests? Would these things problems for you?
Unit 5. Crossing Cultures. Page 30, Exercise 1. Perspectives. If I moved to a foreign country. Part A. Listen to the people talk about moving to a foreign country. Would you have any of the same concerns?
One thing I'd really miss is my mom's cooking.
I'd be worried about the local food. I might not like it.
Getting used to different customs might be difficult at first.
My room at home is the thing that I'd miss the most.
Not knowing the prices of things is something I'd be concerned about.
Moving to a country with a very different climate could be a challenge.
I'd be worried about getting sick and not knowing how to find a good doctor.
Something I'd be nervous about is communicating in a new language.
One thing I'd really miss is my mom's cooking. Of course, I'll miss my mom's food. I'd be worried about the local food. Take care here. Worried about. We don't say worried about. No, make the A silent because the sound here as schwa. Worried about. I'd be worried about. I'd be. This is I would, so make it I'd. I'd be worried about. I'd be worried about the local food. I might not like it. Like it. Make link between like and it. Like it. I might not like it. So maybe I don't like the local food of this foreign country. Getting used to different customs might be difficult at first. Getting used to different habits might be difficult at first. It could be difficult to get used to new habits. My room at home is the thing that I'd miss the most. I'd miss my room at home. Not knowing the prices of things is something I'd be concerned about. That's something is very important. Of course, when I don't know the prices of things, this is something very important for me. So I'd have a big concern about that. Moving to a country with a very different climate. What mean climate? Climate, weather. So moving to a country with a very different weather could be a challenge. This is something challenging. Because maybe you are living in a hot country. The weather is hot in this country. And you travel to another country where the weather is freezing. It's very cold. It's snowing. So it's a big problem. I'd be worried about getting sick and not knowing how to find a good doctor. I'd be worried about getting sick. If I am getting ill, it's a problem for me, yeah, and it's not easy to find a good doctor. Something I'd be nervous about is communicating in new language. When I'm gonna communicate in a new language, it's not easy. Why? Because maybe you know the language, such as English, yeah, you know it well. You know the translation, of course. You understand the people. You can answer them. But what about the etiquette? The way of behaving very, very politely and in an aristocratic way. How do you feel the language and the feeling of the words? This is not something easy. How do you make a joke to make your friend laugh? Your American or British friend. Rate each concern from 1, not worried at all. This means something easy for me, to 5, really worried. This is something very difficult for me. What would be your biggest concern? What is the biggest interest for you and why? Of course, you can put here the numbers from 1 to 5. Exercise 2. Word power, culture shock. These words are used to describe how people sometimes feel when they live in a foreign country. Foreign, G silent. Which are positive, positive, good. Which are negative, negative, bad. Now here, you look at this word, it says curious. Curious. Curious, of course, a person who wants to know about things. This one is curious. He's trying specialty. He's trying to taste specialty. What's the specialty? Local food. Like here, if you are in Egypt, some Americans try to eat koshari. This is specialty. If you are in Saudi Arabia, you eat kapsa. This is a specialty for Saudi Arabia. Must be mandi. Yeah. So here we have the words. Anxious. Anxious, of course, you are very worried, very nervous. Anxious. Anxious, negative. Comfortable. Comfortable. And take care here. Comfortable, O silent. Comfortable. O silent here. Comfortable. In the word for, don't say for, but for, comfortable. American comfortable, British comfortable. Comfortable, British. American comfortable. Of course, comfortable, positive, P. Confident. Confident, you have self-confidence. You're sure about things. So this is positive. Confident and British confident. Curious, curious, positive. Curious, positive. Depressed. Depressed means very sad, frustrated. So this is negative, negative, and depressed, sad. Embarrassed. Embarrassed, you are in a very bad situation. So embarrassed, negative. Take care of this word. It's not easy to pronounce it. This word ends the. This is the enthusiastic. Enthusiastic means you have zeal. You have passion to do something. You have a desire to do something. So this is of course positive. Excited, positive. You're gonna be happy, excited. Fascinated, positive. When you like something too much, fascinated. You are impressed, so this is positive. Homesick, this is negative because you are very sad. Insecure, this in means not. Insecure, not secure. So this is negative. nervous, nervous, negative. Uncertain, uncertain, certain, sure, uncertain, not sure, uncertain. So this is negative. Uncomfortable, uncomfortable. Un means not, uncomfortable, negative. Comfortable, positive. Un, which means not, uncomfortable, negative. And of course, O silent here. Worried. When you are worried about something, you're angry. So this is negative. Now B, group work. Tell your group about other situations in which you experienced the feelings in part A. So here, you start to talk to your friends about a situation, something that happened to you. What made you feel that way? How do you feel about situations now? So, example here, this is about your experiences in different situations. A, I felt anxious yesterday. Anxious, very angry. I felt anxious yesterday. I have to give an important presentation at work. So I had to give an important presentation at work. So you're gonna make a presentation in front of the manager and all your colleagues, your co-workers at work. So you are very worried. How did the presentation go? I was nervous and uncomfortable at first. So in the beginning, I was nervous, I was very nervous and uncomfortable. I don't like speaking in public. So I am shy, I don't like speaking in public. How did you feel after the presentation? Actually, I felt pretty confident. I felt very confident, very sure. I think it went really well. I think it was wonderful. They like it. My friends, all my friends and my co-workers like it. They liked it a lot. They said it's a wonderful presentation. So here, you try to make different situations about these qualities and adjectives. And how did you feel?
Is 3. Grammar focus. Noun phrases containing relative clauses.
One thing I'd really miss is my mom's cooking. One thing that I'd really miss is my mom's cooking.
Something I'd be nervous about is communicating in a new language. Something that I'd be nervous about is communicating in a new language.
2 people I'd call every week are my parents. 2 people who I'd call every week are my parents. 2 people that I'd call every week are my parents.
Noun phrases containing relative clauses. So here in this exercise, in this grammar, we talk about noun phrase. What's a phrase? Phrase means 2 or 3 words without a complete meaning. Without a meaning. It's not a sentence. So the noun phrases containing relative clause. A relative clause, relative pronouns. Relative clause such as who, which, that. So here, one thing. So one thing, 2 words. One thing. What is the meaning? One thing, what? One thing that I'd really miss. It's not a complete thought, it's not a sentence, but all of this is one thing. This is one thing that I'd really miss. This is, it describes one thing. One thing that I'd really miss is what? Is my mom's cooking. So all of this is the subject. One thing, subject, and what describes the subject? I'd really miss. Or I could put that. One thing that I'd really miss is my mom's cooking. So here, this is noun phrase and contains, of course, a relative pronoun, which is that, or a relative clause. So one thing that I really miss All of this is the subject. Is my mom's cooking. Another noun phrase containing relative clause. Something. Something what? Something that I'd be nervous about. Something that I'd be nervous about is what? Is communicating in a new language. So all of this is the subject, and it's noun phrase. It has different words, and of course these words, it has a description with that relative pronoun, a relative clause, that I'd be nervous about. This is the subject. Something that I'd be nervous about is what? Is communicating in a new language. So this is the verb as verb to be, and then this is the object. Two people. So this is of course a phrase. Two people. Two people. This is subject. What about these two people? Two people who I'd call every week. Two people who I'd call every week. All of this is the subject. And two people, and we describe it by using who I'd call every week. Are, this is the verb, my parents, are my parents. Or I can say two people that I'd call every week are my parents. So I can put here who or that, and that replaces of course who. We know this before. I can omit, remove, delete who and write that. Two people that I'd call every week are my parents. So this is the noun phrase containing relative clause as a subject. Here you have one thing, something, two people. The relative pronoun or the relative clause that, or who, that. And I continue by giving description to the subject. Then the verb to be is, are, and after that the object. Mom's cooking, communicating in a new language, my parents. So now it makes a sentence and it gives me a meaning. One thing that I really miss is my mom's cooking. So let's go to the second part.
My mom's cooking is one thing I'd really miss. My mom's cooking is one thing that I'd really miss.
Communicating in a new language is something I'd be nervous about. Communicating in a new language is something that I'd be nervous about.
My parents are two people I'd call every week. My parents are two people who I'd call every week. My parents are two people that I'd call every week.
Noun phrase containing relative clauses, but this time add an object. My mom's cooking. Now put my mom's cooking in the beginning. My mom's cooking is what? Is one thing that I really miss. So this is of course again it's noun phrase. We have two words. One thing contains the relative clause or relative pronoun that I really miss. Is my mom's cooking, or my mom's cooking is one thing that I really miss. So I can put this noun phrase as object. Now my mom's cooking subject is verb to be, and object one thing that I really miss. Communicating in a new language is something that I'd be nervous about, or communicating in a new language is something I'd be nervous about. So here, communicating in a new language, subject, because this is in the beginning of the sentence, is verb to be, something that I'd be nervous about. This is of course the noun phrase containing relative clause, that. My parents are two people who I'd call every week. My parents are two people that I'd call every week. My parents are two people I'd call every week. My parents, subject, my parents, my mom and dad. My father and my mother are two people. This is the object, are two people. And then I describe the object, two people, who I would call every week. And now, of course, that's the end of the noun phrase containing relative clause. And now with this wonderful presentation with Mr. Kyle Ralphson, yes, about the noun phrases containing relative clause.
So, after taking a look at the video and listening to the conversation, let's look at our grammar for today. And our grammar for today is talking about noun phrases. So a noun phrase is basically a noun and then a relative clause that gives more information about this noun. So if we look at this sentence, it reads, one thing that I'd be nervous about is the food. Now, here's my noun, one thing. And I want to give more information about what thing or which thing. So I use the relative clause. So I say one thing that I'd be nervous about, and this is my relative clause. Now I can use that, or I can decide not to. So this is optional. Okay? But in order to make this a full sentence, I need to tell you what. One thing I'd be nervous about is the food. And in this context, the food is the object of the sentence. It's telling me what? What are you nervous about? Right? Let's look at another example. This one says, a person who I'd miss is my mom. Again, here's my noun, a person, and here's my relative clause to describe which person or what type of person. So a person who I'd miss, and again, who is optional. So a person who I'd miss is my mom, and the object is my mom. Very good. Okay, now I want to show you something. Now when I say the object of a sentence, I can often use a gerund phrase. Now a gerund phrase, remember, is an ing verb. And a lot of times we use those verbs like a noun. They are ideas, right? So for example, if we look at this sentence, it says, something that I'd be excited about is trying different food. So here's my gerund phrase, and it starts with the gerund, ing, right? So this is an idea. The idea of trying different food is my gerund phrase, and therefore it's an object of the sentence. It's a noun, right? Or this one, the thing that I would be nervous about is missing my family. So again, here's my gerund, missing, and I'm using it as a gerund phrase to describe the idea of missing my family. Very good. Okay, so let's look at the idea of the subject and the object of the sentence. If we look at this sentence, it says, one thing that I'd be nervous about is the food. So my subject is the entire noun phrase, right? And my object is the food. But I can put this sentence in a different order. And I can put the food first and the noun phrase as the object. And I can say, the food is one thing that I'd be nervous about. And that's okay, right? Now remember, down here, I had a sentence that says, one thing that I'd be excited about is trying different food. Now trying different food was the gerund phrase, and that's the noun, that's the idea. And again, I can use this idea first and put the noun phrase second. And I can say, trying different food is one thing that I'd be excited about. Okay, so after watching the video, I hope this was helpful in describing how to form and how to use noun phrases. Not only using them as the subject of the sentence, but as the object of the sentence also. So, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye.
Part A. Complete the sentences about living in a foreign country. Use the phrases below, then compare with a partner. So in this exercise here, okay, you will try to complete these sentences about living in a foreign country, living in a different country, and you will use the phrases below. these phrases, these sentences. More than one answer could be possible. Okay, for example, here we have my friends, my family, getting sick. Trying new foods, my favorite food, my room at home. Making new friends, being away from home, speaking a new language. Getting lost in a new city, not understanding people, and getting used to different culture. So we have all of these concerns or these interests for me. One thing I'd definitely be fascinated by, be excited about is, one thing I definitely be excited about is, be excited means be fascinated is what? Be fascinated by means excited about, is what? I can say is trying new foods. Is trying new foods. Okay? Another answer is making new friends. 2. Is something I'd really miss. So I can say my room at home. My room at home is something I'd really miss. Another answer, something I really miss. My family is something I'd really miss. 2 things I'd be homesick for are, I need now 2 things. 2 things I'd be homesick for are my friends and my family. My friends and my family. 4 are 2 things I'd be anxious about. 2 things I'd be very angry about. What are the 2 things? Getting sick, and getting lost. Getting sick and getting lost in a new city are 2 things I'd be anxious about. 5. Something I'd get depressed about is, something I'd get depressed about is, depressed, you're frustrated, you're very sad. Something I'd get sad about it is, what could make you sad? Something I'd get depressed about is being away from home. This is an example. 6. It's one thing that I might be embarrassed about. Yeah, this means I'm going to be shy and I'm going to be in a very bad situation. I'm going to be ashamed. So this is, of course, number 6. I can say not understanding people. Not understanding people is one thing that I might be embarrassed about. 7. The thing I'd feel most uncomfortable about would be not comfortable. This is number 7. So the answer could be, of course, getting sick. The thing I'd feel most uncomfortable about would be getting sick. 8. Are the people who I'd miss the most. Are the people who I'd miss the most. So I can say, of course, my friends. My friends are the people who I'd miss the most. So number 8, my friends. 9. One thing I'd be insecure about is insecure, not secure, not safe. So of course could be getting lost in a new city. One thing I'd be insecure about is getting lost in a new city. This is if I got lost, it would be a problem for me. 10 are 2 things I'd be very enthusiastic. Enthusiastic. So, of course, making new friends and trying new foods. Making new friends and trying new foods are two things I'd be very excited about. Number B, you can of course complete these sentences in part A with your own information by yourself. Example, one thing I'd definitely be excited about is taking pictures as I go sightseeing. So here you look at the picture, there is a young lady, and the young lady is standing, next to the Sphinx. She's in the pyramids area. This is the pyramids area, one of the 7 wonders of the world. So the pyramids and the Sphinx. Now, number C, group work. Rewrite your sentences from part B in another way, then compare. Do others feel the same way? Do the other people feel the same way? Now here, of course, you write your sentences and your friends, and you make a discussion. And you make a great discussion. Wish you good luck.
Page 31, Exercise 4, Pronunciation. Word stress in sentences. Part A. Listen and practice. Notice that the important words in a sentence have more stress.
Argentina is a country that I'd like to live in.
Speaking a new language is something I'd be anxious about.
Trying new foods is something I'd be curious about.
Page 31, Exercise 4, Pronunciation. Word stress in sentences. Part A. Listen and practice. Notice that the important words in a sentence have more stress.
Argentina is a country that I'd like to live in.
Speaking a new language is something I'd be anxious about.
Trying new foods is something I'd be curious about.
Pronunciation, phonetics, word stress in sentences. So here, what's the stress? Stress is to make the sound higher, louder, and longer. So here, in these sentences, the important words in a sentence have more stress. So the words which are important. Why they are important? Some words are more important than others because they have the meaning. Like Argentina. Argentina is a country that I'd like to live in. So what gives me the meaning? Argentina, country, live. So now, try to read this sentence without the unstressed words. Argentina, country. So I know that Argentina is a country. Live. So it means that Argentina is a country that I'd like to live in, that I want to live in. Also, when I say Argentina is a country that I'd like to live in, what gives me the meaning? What gives me the meaning? Of course, the noun first, then the action verb. So what gives the meaning is number 1, the noun. If I didn't find in a sentence, if I couldn't find a noun, of course the verb, the action verb. So the verb, not verb to be or verb to have or verb to do, no. Verbs like play, run, jump, I stress them. Number 3, if in the sentence there isn't a noun or a verb, I stress the adjective. Example, what is the weather like? Hot. It's hot. So what gives me the meaning? Hot. Hot, adjective. It's hot. So here is verb to be and it, this is pronoun, we don't stress it. We stress only the adjective hot. What's the weather like? Cold. So of course cold, give me the meaning. Okay, so we stress number 1, nouns. Number 2, verbs, action verbs. Number 3, adjectives. Second sentence. Speaking a new language is something I'd be anxious about. Speaking, language, something, anxious. Speaking a new language is something I'd be anxious about. So speaking language, something anxious. So this is to give me the meaning. Trying new foods is something I'd be curious about. Trying foods, something curious. So this is of course give me the meaning. Trying foods, something curious. Now B, per work, mark the stress in the sentences you wrote in exercise 3 and part A. Then practice the sentences. Pay attention to word stress. So this is of course the homework for you. Exercise number 5, discussion. Going abroad. Now, group work. Read the questions, think of 2 more questions to add to the list. Then take turns asking and answering the question in groups. So here, in this exercise, you have different questions and you can ask more questions. What country would you like to live in and why? Now, look at the picture here. A young lady, and the young lady is painting, is drawing, and this is like a river or a canal, a lake, I don't know, and this is, we have different buildings, and there is a bridge. This is a bridge. And she's drawing. So here, what country would you like to live in and why? What is the best country for you? What country wouldn't you like to live in and why? So a country you'd like to live in, you would like. And a country you wouldn't like. Wouldn't, I can make the T silent. Wouldn't, I wouldn't like to live in. Who is the person you would most like to go abroad with if you want to travel abroad? Who is the person you would most like to go abroad with? You would like to be your friend in traveling abroad. Your brother, your sister, your mother, your friend. What's something you'd never travel without? What is the most important thing for you that you must travel with it? That you must travel within it? Who is the person you would email first after arriving somewhere new? So if you're gonna travel to a new place, who's gonna be your first person to send an email to him or to her? What would be your 2 greatest concerns about living abroad? What would be your 2 greatest interests about living abroad? What is the thing you'd enjoy the most about living abroad? So tell me what is the most enjoyable something or the most enjoyable thing for you for living abroad. So of course this is like a conversation, a group work between you and your friends. So you can say, this is example, what country would you like to live in? Egypt. For me, Egypt. I like Egypt a lot. I like to live in Egypt. The country I'd most like to live in is Italy. Italy. Italy, T, soft D, between two vowels. Italy. Why is that? Well, I've always wanted to study art. So maybe this young lady is in Italy and she's trying to draw something or a scene about Italy. Part of a city in Italy, in an Italian city. Exercise number 6. Snapshot. Different customs. Said customs, habits. Here we have different flags. This is a flag of a country. This is a flag of Canada. And we have different customs, different habits for the people in these countries. For example, in Canada, if you're invited for a meal, you should arrive on time, not early or late. So if you travel to Canada and you are invited for a meal, for breakfast, lunch, dinner, you should arrive on time, not early or late. If you'll have lunch at 10 o'clock, it should be 10 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock, not early and not late. In Indonesia, this is Indonesia, the flag of Indonesia. Never point to anything with your foot. So you never point. Don't point to anything with your foot. This is of course too bad. This is impolite in Indonesia. Thailand. In Thailand, never touch anyone, especially a child, on the head. Don't touch anybody. Don't touch anybody, especially the head. Brazil. Open any gift in front of the person who gave it to you. So this is of course, a strange custom. If somebody give you a gift, a present, you should open it in front of the person. Maybe you would say a compliment like, "That's very nice, what a wonderful gift. That's very nice of you, dear." South Korea. South Korea always use both hands to pass something to an older person. If you want to give an older person something, you should use both of your hands, your two hands. In Egypt, don't eat anything with your left hand. Yes, this is right. This is a habit in Egypt here, that most of Egyptians eat food with their right hands, but not with the left hand. France, when eating out, keep both hands on or above the table. So this is of course, in France, you should put your hands on the table or above the table. This is a habit. This is etiquette in France. This is etiquette, American etiquette. Nigeria, when you meet people, don't call them by their first names until they say you can. It means here that you should say like sir or master or title before you say the first name. That means you are not friends. So you should keep distance. Does your culture follow any of these customs? What mean culture? Culture, of course, the habits, traditions, the beliefs of this community or this society or this country. Do the people in your country follow any of these customs and habits or these habits? Do any of these customs seem unusual to you? Explain. Do you think some of these habits are unusual? Not usual? What other interesting customs do you know? What other interesting habits do you know? So this is of course a group work discussion among you and your friends. Wish you all good luck. That's the end of unit number 5 part 1. And now let's get the homework. Number 1, keep the words by heart. Number 2, listen and repeat. 3, answer 3 pages of the workbook. Unit 5, the first 3 pages. Also, for more exercises, you can go to www.cambridge.org/interchange arcade/. You will have a lot of exercises for vocab and grammar, funny exercises, some games. That's the end. Hope you like it, share it and subscribe. شكرا والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Thank you very much. شكرا للمشاهدة. Hope you like it, share it and subscribe. يرجى الاشتراك على القناة الآن. Thanks for watching. شكرا والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.